A diagram position is coming from a game of Kasparov. White is Kasparov, black is Timman. A game is played, well, on one of those Vaikanze super tournaments. White is the move. Let's try to grasp position a little bit. White has, okay, pair of bishops. And it is obvious that white should look for his chances on the king side. Black has 2 versus 1. Black should look for his chances on the queen side, probably by pushing his b-pawn. But okay, it is still some time to go before this b-pawn will become a real power. It is still only on b7. How is white supposed to play this position? Well, first thing which comes in mind is a question, is e4 a good move here? This is the first question. White can also postpone this move by playing, for example, move h6 to try to weaken black, and after g5 play move bishop g3. And now, with his king potentially weakened, white can consider some ideas to push this e4 at a later stage. Second idea here for white is to, let's say, play move bishop f1 in order to move this rook to g2, and then to decide to push. Let's suppose that black pushes a pawn. I will take, to put rook to g2, and then to try to push, or to be ready to maybe also push. And if black plays move like h6, which looks logical, white can maybe start now thinking about such kind of ideas. Improving the bishop, because there is going to be diagonal. Potentially even making the battery. Bishop and a queen, threatening checkmate. Those were all kind of options for white. But white Kasparov decided to push e4, which is a mistake. Black took, rook takes, rook takes. Now question is how to take on e4. By rook or by pawn? How would you take? Kasparov took by rook, which is a mistake. Why is it mistake? Is because after bishop d5, black has tremendous bishop. White has this isolated pawn with actually 0 play for this isolated pawn. And black is simply having a clear advantage here. White should have here taken with a pawn. Situation is not great for white, but he is not worse. Let's say knight b2 is probably a logical move. Queen d2, queen g4. This is probably something which Kasparov did not like, this kind of position. But white is not worse. Takes on b2, queen takes f4, queen takes b7, rook e6, let's say, d5, rook e8, queen a6. Black can now decide to take on h5. White would play move queen d3. Or black can decide to take on d5. White would play maybe queen b6. Objective outcome should be a draw. Objective outcome should be a draw because black does not have enough pieces to exploit white's weak king. So here, in this position, starting position, Kasparov pushed e4 too early. He pushed e4 at the moment when it was better to try, let's say, to play move bishop f1 with rook g2. Or to maybe indeed weaken black with h6, g5, bishop g3. And then to decide what to do at a later stage. But I personally prefer move bishop f1 with rook g2 to follow. In the game, let's see what happens. e4 happened. So takes, 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 takes. Wrong to take by rook. Bishop d5. Rook e2. And now comes important moment. Most probably Timman felt very comfortable and he thought here that he stands better and that nothing can potentially go wrong. But this is actually an important moment, because here black could have killed white counterplay by playing small move, but very constructive move h6. Fixing the pawn structure, securing king position, keeping his fantastic bishop on d5. This bishop is not worth very much. White pawn is safely blocked, and black is having this beautiful b pawn which is going to come. In such a position, black is having very large advantage. Very large advantage. So actually, in a matter of how many moves? 1, 2, 3, 4 moves. White has actually, from the position which is totally unclear, which is this position, could have reached this. It was just one move, did reach this, which is just playing for 2 results with a large advantage for black. Let's see, after Timman made a mistake and played move rook c8, how did Kasparov manage to muddy waters and turn things around. He played here very good move h6. And after g5, bishop g3, actually situation is not that clear anymore, because this king is potentially weak now. This h6 inclusion helped white a lot to generate some sort of mess. And now time pressure is approaching, and actually black is going to drift. Rook e8, queen e1, rook e2, queen e2, king f8, queen d3, knight b6, probably not really good, because black would lose time in order to provoke a5, knight c4, believing to be able to take this pawn. I do not really like this. I would have preferred maybe, let's say, to push move like b5 if I had a choice. So in the game happened knight b6, a5, knight c4, bishop f1. White is now improving his bishops. Pawn cannot be taken because there is a queen a3 check. Queen e7, now threatening to take a pawn. Queen c3. Now this knight is hanging. Actually, pawn on b5 would have been very handy of black. That's why I wanted to push this pawn. Now black decides to trade queens. Already situation is actually not easy, because now it was really not a good idea to provoke this pawn to a5. Queen trade, queen e3, knight e3, bishop d3, knight c4, trying to collect this pawn, bishop e1. Now the bishops are going to dominate. King g8, king f2. Well, black now understands not to be in a good shape, because this bishop is going to come to b4. This one pawn is controlling those 2 pawns. So actually, in reality, white is almost a pawn up. And black is hoping to save himself by pushing b5. Black is basically hoping to reach this kind of position. Takes, knight takes, bishop takes, and to save the game. But Kasparov here, after b5, does something very smart. He understands that it is good for him to keep those pawns, because this pawn is going nowhere and this pawn may fall. And here he plays very strong move, bishop b4. Cutting of this knight. Now this knight, which was once a powerful piece, is not having any squares, and black has to solve following threat: bishop f5, bishop c8, bishop takes a6. And this he cannot solve. Knight b2, bishop f5, bishop c4, hoping to give knight d3 check. Of course, doesn't work. King e3, bishop d5, bishop c8, collecting the pawn, knight e2, king e7, and black resigned. So actually top level game and a number of very instructive mistakes. So mistake number 1, pushing e4 and trading pieces at the wrong moment. So pushing e4 at the wrong moment, d takes c4, rook e4, another important moment after rook takes e4, how to take. Another mistake, because f takes e is leading to approximately equal positions where it should be a draw. Rook takes e4 allows black to get tremendous bishop in the blockade. Rook goes back to e2, and now instead of playing move h6 and securing the position of the king and having a large advantage, black plays carelessly move rook c8, allowing white something which later will prove extremely important in the game, because actually white won descending later on because pawn h7 was a problem, and then a couple of more later careless moves by black did lead to a loss. So this is quite an instructive example of how great players can actually be careless and make mistakes, like Timman not playing move h6, and in Kasparov case, playing move e4 is not being careless, it's just making a bad judgment. So even one of the greatest players that ever lived can make a bad judgment and do the wrong trade at the wrong decision at the wrong moment.